do you feel now you're a constant? Like you said before, there was players, you're in the second era of the takeover sort of thing. You had Kompany, you had Kun, you had Yaya. Do you feel now when players come in, you're that constant? You're the beacon. They go, oh, Kev's done it before, we can go to him for things. Do you like how that role's changed for you?
Well, I think it's a natural process. I think you also grow in that process. I think when you're 24 years old, nobody really comes to you. You know, you go to Vinny, you go to David, Fernandinho. You know, these are the guys who've been there a long time. I came here with Righty, Joe Hart. They were still, you know, these guys were like the legends of the club. And, you know, now these young guys ask sometimes how things go in this club, or they probably look at you, how do you conduct yourself, how does the club work? So I don't know, I don't feel like I'm a constant. I'm just a part of City, and you know, I'll take it as it comes. You know, I just enjoy my time, and you know, I'm getting a little bit older, I know that, but I'm feeling good, so that's the only thing.
What about the younger ones coming through, as in Oscar, Rico? And there's some fantastic talent coming through.
Yeah, I think it's been loads of talents coming through. Obviously, you have some guys who will come to us and perform at our level, but even like just maybe the level a little bit below, there's been so many guys where you say, oh, they could be really good players and they have a great Premier League career or somewhere else, you know. There have been talents coming through every year. But then you have like Phil, like Rico, like Oscar, they have that little bit level.
Special talents in there.
Yeah, if you want to play for us, you need to be exceptional. And they are exceptional at this age. So if they do well, they probably have, you know, a top career. I had to start in Belgium and I had to work my way up. They already at the top club, so they're probably way ahead where I was at that time. So, and they're playing.
I was going to say, do you think the bar is higher now to be a young player coming through? You've got to be exceptional.
Well, the bar is what the team's level is. You know, that's not disrespect to any other teams. Like for me, if I played in Belgium, the level is lower than it is playing for City, playing for titles and Champions Leagues and cups. You know, and but they also have the facilities, you know, that we didn't have at that time in Belgium also. But you still have to prove yourself. You know, football is a big business. You know, it's hardcore, but once you are in that business, it's a wonderful life.
I want to talk about your return last season against Newcastle. I feel like I'll chew anyone's ear off who will talk about it with me. You're a player that sort of strikes fear into opponents' hearts, and that game was like, oh, De Bruyne is back. Like, everyone's on blast now. Do you feel that effect? Do you let the outside creep in, and it's like, look, I'm back. I've hit the ground running. Let's do this. Let's press on.
I don't know how I really look at it. Whenever I'm playing, I try and make a difference. That's how I see it. I try to take an advantage against the other teams. I don't know if people fear me or not. I don't really care if they fear me. I just want to play the best that I can play. And I was out for a long time, and I felt when I came back, I had that hunger, desire again, like to show like I'm back here. And then obviously the Newcastle game for me was the best way to come back, you know, to come back after 6 months of real injury and then struggling the year before. In the last couple of months was like for me such a boost to come in that game and, you know, win the game together with Oscar. It's hard to explain it, how that feeling, but even like just warming up in here against, I think it was Sheffield, but like the whole stadium like applauding you, it was a weird experience, but it was special.
I mean, this is one for probably both of you. What's it like coming back from injury and then hitting the ground running? How much of a boost is that? Because like from like my standpoint, from a fan standpoint, like of course that's what you want, but you don't see the months or the weeks before all the effort. Like, how much of that of a relief is that almost?
Well, it gives you a confidence boost because I was away for almost 6 months, you know, and I'm training on by myself in the gym.
It can be a lonely place sometimes.
It's a lonely place, but I was able to mentally switch off. I felt like Obviously, I had injuries before, but I'd never really had something like this where I was able to give my body also a rest, where obviously I had the hamstring, but the rest of my body was also able to heal a bit. And that, when I was injured, we made a plan where I can enjoy my life outside of football. It doesn't mean I had to do crazy, but I could go on a holiday and train in Dubai. You know, when they had 2 weeks off in October, I was able to get a weekend away, you know, to the lakes. I went to I did things and saw things that I'd never been able to do since I've been a professional footballer. So for me, it was a good time to rest, but also mentally rest. And when I came back, I was ready to come again, and I was able to get all the hours that I've put in, do it back on the field. So it was a very bad thing, but I tried to spin it around in a positive.
I was going to say that because the season before you were playing in one leg, weren't you? That was part of the season as well.
Yeah, since the Munich game, it was just hard. It was hard to maintain. There was a lot of stuff happening in family with grandparents and death and all that stuff. So I was flying up and down to Belgium during Madrid games and all that stuff. So I was mentally exhausted after the summer, and then obviously the injury came, and I was like, okay, time to reset, and we'll see what happens.
I think that's something we forget as fans. You see someone injured, right, they're going to be back in 6 weeks, and that's what you think, oh, once their body's healed, they're back. But the mental side of things, you completely...
Yeah, but even with last year, I felt being out for 6 months, you come back and people think you're going to be like this. Obviously, Newcastle was great, but then I had some games where I was like, oh, my body's really hurting. I've not played for 6 months. I'm not able to do this for the moment for every 3 days, but I knew, you know, after these pains of coming back, you know, I just needed a really good Euros where I was physically top, and then a good break in the summer. And now I feel like I'm back to what I was before. So let's hope that this keeps going.
Right, let's talk teammates. I'm going to start with Rodri. How good is it to play with a player of that caliber?
No, he's been unbelievable. I think every year he got better also. I think when he came here, I don't know, it was 18-19, where we were struggling a bit, and I think he was trying to find his place a bit, but I think after a year or so, you saw every year he was taking these steps, and now he's a constant, you know. He's like the main guy in the way that we play football, so it's really important, you know. And then obviously we had some moments when he wasn't playing that we were struggling a bit, but obviously that says it all about the way he has been.
I'm going to say you don't want to put like too much pressure on someone's shoulders, but it is a miss when he's not there, isn't it?
Yeah, he has been a miss. I think we're finding now ways to cope without him, but obviously last year there was a moment when he wasn't playing, you know, we were not really doing that well, so it was that important for us. But that is, you know, says it all about the way he has been performing and the way he has been for us.
Another player we've missed and who has returned, Ilkay. I mean, for fans, we're absolutely buzzing. Is that what it's like within the team as well?
I feel like it's just been normal, you know. He's been away for a year, like been on a holiday, come back and slotted it way back in. I don't know, you know. It just feels normal. I think, you know, but the way it went when he went away, and then obviously I think it was more like a contractual situation than a really wanting to depart from both ways, and sometimes that's how football works. And then craziness of football, you know, in Barcelona, and he comes back here and he slots in, like he's never left, you know, been here 7 years or something. So he's been clutch, won those titles, so let's do it again.
Talking titles, doing it again. What are the ambitions this season?
Winning, you know.
5 in a row.
Yeah. You know, you want to win every game, every title. We know it's hard, you know. You're mostly not able to win everything, but the goal is to win, you know. But you want to win this weekend. You can't really look too far ahead. Only when you're like close to the end, you start thinking about double, treble, whatever. But even then, it's hard to do. But I don't know. The hunger is there from my side. I feel the team is in the same shape, and the manager is the manager. He will always push us. So hopefully.